Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Next Level CRM. Thank you for joining today. Okay, so first of all, we'll just go through some introductions. So my name's Sam Connah. I'm sales manager here at Interface. We're Bitrix24 Gold Partners. So we're based here in the UK, the US and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24. So starting off with pre-sale support. So what we can do is discuss your requirements in detail and see if Bitrix24 could be a good fit for what you're trying to achieve. And if it is, we can help to build out the Bitrix24 system for you. So what we can do is we can set up the system exactly how you need it to work. Okay, so we can really make sure the system is set up for how the business needs Bitrix24 to work, so you can start to get value out of the Bitrix24 system. We can then, if you're looking for the self-hosted edition, so there's two editions and we'll go into both editions in more detail later on, but if you are looking at the self-hosted edition of Bitrix, we can provide our hosting services. Then once the setup is completed, we can provide training and ongoing dedicated support to ensure you get the most possible value out of Bitrix24. Okay, so before we go into today's Next Level CRM webinar, if you're maybe new to Bitrix or if you're evaluating Bitrix24, let's just go through really what Bitrix24 actually is and what it encompasses. So essentially, Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 35, nearly 40 different tools that you can use to manage your business. And there's over 12 million customers now around the world that use the Bitrix24 system. And today we're going to be looking at the CRM. So one thing to point out here, it is voted, the Bitrix24 CRM module, it is within the top 10 CRM systems globally. And we work with a lot of businesses that move from all the CRMs to Bitrix24, and today we'll see some of the key reasons why businesses move to the Bitrix24 CRM. And as we've mentioned, so the system is available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud and we have the Bitrix24 self-hosted solution. So you have different options there available for you. And as we go through today's webinar, if there's certain functionality only on the cloud or the self-hosted, we'll point out all of that to you. Okay, and in terms of pricing, so prices start from around $49 per month for a cloud-based edition, or if you're looking at the self-hosted edition, so that starts at $3,590. That's for the Business 50 edition. So you pay in year one for the self-hosted, that price, and for the Business 50 edition, and then in year two and ongoing annually, you will pay a renewal fee of approximately 25% as a subscription to continue to use your Bitrix24 on-premise system. Okay, so in today's webinar, we're going to be looking at the CRM system. So let's actually understand, first of all, why you should use the Bitrix24 as your CRM system. Okay, so first of all, we have a huge number of tools that you can use for Bitrix24. So first of all, we have marketing automation. Okay, so there are many useful features that we'll see for automating processes to generate new leads inside the Bitrix CRM system. So that's from sending out marketing campaigns, integrating channels in your website, such as web forms and live chat to sync communications directly from your website into Bitrix24, which can generate leads, and then we can capture and qualify those leads very quickly through a customizable lead qualification process in the CRM system. And then once you qualified the leads, you can work through your sales pipelines, which are completely customizable. So you can set up your pipeline, set up your stages, and really make the CRM robust for your organization. One of the key aspects of the Bitrix24 CRM that we hear time and time again is the UI, how simple the UI can be, how customizable it is to the organization. And that's really important to get buy-in from other users who are going to start onboarding onto Bitrix. Sometimes you need that simplicity in the UI, because then people can learn how to use the CRM, whereas other systems may be quite challenging and over complex to use. The Bitrix24 CRM really can be simplified for your sales teams. And then through integrations, so through email, telephony, and those live chat and social media integrations, you can then build a 360-degree picture of all of the activity that you have with your customers inside the system. Then we can monitor your team's effectiveness. So we'll have a look at some of the reporting features within the CRM system, so you can forecast sales and then build detailed reports. And we'll also look at the smart process automation feature. It's an incredibly popular feature available inside Bitrix24. So on the professional cloud tier and above, so all self-hosted editions, if you're on a basic or a standard cloud, you won't have the smart process automation feature, but essentially the SPA feature allows you to create brand new entities inside the Bitrix CRM system. So essentially, the Bitrix24 CRM is a completely customizable CRM product. Okay, so that's a look at some of the benefits sorry, and the reasons for using the Bitrix24 CRM. And now what we'll do is we'll go through some of the key areas of today's webinar. So first of all, we'll see how we can generate new leads inside the CRM system. We'll then go through a module overview. So we'll check the modules of the CRM and break down into each entity of the system, so we can actually go from the lead to a deal, and we'll look at the contacts and companies. And then we'll do a case study. So we'll actually generate a new lead in the system and progress it through our customized sales process. And then we'll take a look at some of the reporting tools at the end of today's webinar. Now, if you have any questions as we go through today's webinar, either on Zoom or on LinkedIn, please do add them into the question box, and we can run through those during the interval of today's webinar. Okay, so first of all, in today's CRM webinar, let's take a look at how we can generate new leads inside the Bitrix24 CRM system, because this is a key aspect of the CRM, feeding in that lead information to then start the sales process. So first of all, you can import those leads. Okay, so that's a really important area to look at. You can import via CSVs into the CRM system, or we can look to use webhooks or APIs if you wanted to feed that data in from another system. We've done that quite a lot for some of our clients if you want to automate the process of feeding the lead information into the system. We then also have live chat. So the live chat system that allows you to speak with your potential customers from the website. So you can embed the live chat onto your website. That information then feeds into Bitrix24, and that can create a brand new lead inside the CRM system. We then also have social networks. So if your business, if it's on Facebook, if it's on Instagram, those business pages can connect with Bitrix24. So you can then generate a brand new conversation that feeds into the CRM. And again, that could generate a new lead. Or if you already have that contact inside the system, all of that history can be saved inside their contact page. A very popular feature is CRM forms. So you have the ability to create forms inside Bitrix, embed those forms onto your websites. And then when someone fills in the information on those forms, that will generate a brand new lead inside the system. So you're starting to see here some of these different tools. So from live chats, social network integrations, web forms, all of these features come included inside the contact center tool. So it's starting to see how valuable the information and actually the module of the CRM. It's not just the CRM system. Here you've got full contact center management tools as well within the package. So it's a very cost-effective solution. So moving on from CRM forms is telephony. So it's also possible to integrate telephone calls into Bitrix. There's a few different ways, and we have a telephony webinar where we go into that in a lot more detail, but essentially you could receive calls inside the Bitrix CRM system. You can record those calls, make outbound calls. So all of that communication with your clients or leads is saved inside the CRM system. And if the number isn't registered yet inside the CRM, Bitrix can automatically create you a brand new lead inside the system. We then have sites. So sites are really popular to kind of generate new marketing. So if you've got maybe a new campaign, you might want to create a landing page to send people to see that information. We can use the sites feature here. So you can generate brand new landing pages, embed those where you like, and then, for example, use the marketing feature to send a marketing campaign with a link to the site that you've created. And on that site, you could then have some CRM forms and a live chat channel to feed information into Bitrix. So a lot of these tools here to generate leads, they really can be interconnected together. And of course, we can also manually add leads into Bitrix. So you can, say if you're on the mobile app, if you've got field staff, you can manually add leads into the system as well. Okay, so that is a look there at tools we can use to generate leads. So let's just take a look at some of these in more detail. Now, if you are wanting to use some of these tools to generate leads and you're not sure where to go to start using those tools, then all you need to do is inside your Bitrix system, on the left-hand side here, you have your modules. And if you go into the CRM, then inside customers, you can click in the contact center. Okay, and then inside the contact center here, we have all of our channels. So for example, if you want to build a website form, you can click in the form section here, and then you can create a new form. So Bitrix has a web form designer tool, so you can add your fields to a form. You can even remove the Bitrix branding from here, and then you can embed that form onto your website. So if you want to have like a contact us form, we could build that through Bitrix. And then you can take the embedding code, or you can use a link, for example. So there's different options for how we can actually embed that form. So if we can click into here, there's different options and there's instructions here for how you can embed those forms. But let's say if I take the link for this form here, that form could then be embedded onto your website, and that can then generate a brand new lead inside the CRM system. And we mentioned some of these social network integrations as well. So for example, Facebook and Instagram, so you can connect your business pages with Bitrix. So when people message you, for example, on Facebook, those conversations, as you can see here, do you offer Bitrix24 training? That has come through our Facebook Messenger system. And then I can reply to that message directly through Bitrix24. So I can see Sam Connah has asked the question here, do you offer Bitrix training? We can respond to that and reply onto Facebook through the Bitrix24 system. So these are some of the really powerful contact center tools that you can use and connect to feed leads into your CRM. So if we go into our CRM system now, let's just refresh the CRM here. You can see here that Brandon Sharp form that we filled in, it has created a brand new lead inside the CRM system. So that's how we can generate new leads through our contact center tools. And if you just want to see what the live chat feature looks like, if we go on to our website, for example, here, I can see the contact tool there. So, okay, so I can send that message. And again, just like with Facebook, the message would feed into Bitrix, so your team can then respond to those messages directly through the Bitrix24 system. So there is a huge number of tools within your contact center of Bitrix that you can use to generate leads inside the system. This isn't simply a CRM where you're going to populate the leads. Bitrix can essentially do a lot of the heavy lifting to generate the lead inside your CRM system, and even more kind of granular for actually some of these tools. If you wanted to, you, for example, could go into your live chat system here, and what we could then do is I could maybe set up maybe routings for who is actually going to be able to respond to some of those messages. So for example, on live chats, we might have a live chat team who are responsible for dealing with any chats that come in from the website. So we can set up the users here from our Bitrix system where the live chat messages can be routed to. So instead of it going to the whole sales team, if you've got sales managers and directors who are kind of managing the overall sales team, they potentially don't want to be dealing with live chats, and you don't want the wrong person to be responding to those chats. So we can set up permissions for how those messages are routed inside your organization. And then we might say, for example, if we click on Facebook, we have a complete different group for who are going to be responding to the messages from our Facebook Messenger system. So you have a lot of control to route information to the correct departments through the contact center. Okay, so that is a look there at our contact center tools and the ability to generate leads inside Bitrix24. Now, we have had a question earlier on this week around some of those contact center tools. So if we just go through there, and if there are any other questions, please do add them into our LinkedIn or Zoom channel, and we can answer those for you. And it was around, is there a limit to the number of open channels that you can connect on Bitrix24? And it is a really good question. And again, this comes down to the type of plan that you have on Bitrix24. Okay, so if you're wanting to maybe set up a certain number of maybe open channels, then if you're on the cloud edition of Bitrix24, then you need to check. So different tiers have different number of open channels that you can create. With the on-premise edition, it is unlimited, so you could create as many open channels as you require. Okay, so now let's go from our generating of leads. What we can do now is let's take a look at the different modules. So we'll look at, first of all, leads and deals, have a look at contacts and companies and the quotes and invoices. So the core modules of the Bitrix24 CRM. And then we'll also take a look at smart process automation. So this is quite a new feature. It's been around for probably around a year now on Bitrix24. And essentially, this tool allows you to create brand new entities inside the CRM system. So essentially, you can make the CRM completely bespoke for your process. You don't need to try and build all of your sales processes into the existing entities of Bitrix24. What you can do is you can create your own entities. Now, the smart process automation feature, I can't really say this enough. If you're looking for this tool, you need to have at least a professional cloud edition of Bitrix24. So essentially, then you can have a completely customized CRM system. So let's take a look at these tools in some more detail. So one thing just to point out, on this edition here of Bitrix, I am an administrator, so I've got access to essentially all data, all areas of the CRM system. What we can do is we can set permissions. Okay, so if I just quickly go into the settings area here, what we can do in the settings is go to permissions. And then within the permissions area here, we can set up different roles. Okay, so based on those roles, we can then assign essentially that permission structure for that role. So we can see all of our different entities here, and then we've got the different type of permission across the top. And then what we can do is with each of those different areas, I can then set access rights. So let's say on contacts, I might want to deny all access, so they can't access the contact database. Or we may say, actually, if they are the person responsible for that contact, then they can have access. So you can set very granular permissions, even down to the different stages of your lead and deal stages. So actually you might control permissions down to the actual stages of your sales process. That's how granular we can go with our permissions inside the CRM system. Okay, so that's just something to point out. So a sales rep may come into their CRM system here and they may just see the leads that they are responsible for. Okay, so inside leads, so just to explain, you use leads to qualify your inquiry. So let's say if a web form has been submitted from our website, it's going to create a new lead. We don't have any more information yet about that lead. So we need to go through a qualification process to try and qualify that lead, essentially, see if it is a genuine fit for what we offer. And then we can move it into a deal and progress a sales opportunity. So we need to qualify that lead first of all. Now, the lead database we see here, again, I can customize this. So it's essentially the pieces of information here are custom fields. So you can store as much or as little information inside here as you require. So you can completely customize what data you show here. And this is looking here at the list view. We also have the Kanban view, which is really popular. So again, here you can progress your lead through the different stages like so. So that's how we can progress our leads. And we can put rules in place to make sure you've captured the correct information at each stage of the sales process. And those stages here that we progress through, it's completely customizable. So you can customize this lead process to really match your qualification process. So you might have one stage, you may have 20 stages. It's completely customizable to what your process would be. Okay, and if we just quickly go into a lead page here, you can see how clean the system is here. So that's something that's really important for businesses. You want to have a very clean system here to be able to capture information about your lead. So here on the left-hand side, we can see all of the details about this lead, and you can create custom fields here to capture specific information about your leads, and you can create additional sections. So let's say if I wanted to have maybe a requirements section, I could create a requirements area and put custom fields in there to store specific information. So it's completely customizable to how you want to store your data. And then on the right-hand side, we have the activity logs. So this is where if we connect our emails, telephony, our different social network channels, this is where we would then see all of that information. So I can click into these emails, I can see the communication log that has taken place with the lead. I can add my own notes, and I can tag my colleague into those notes as well. So if you wanted to store information about the lead inside here, I can store all of that history and data very easily inside the lead page. And you've got a filtering tool, so you can really easily drill down into any of that data through the system. So if I just wanted to look at all of the internal comments, for example, I could drill down to those comments and see that information. And we also have automations inside leads. So we mentioned how you can create different stages to progress the lead through the system. Now, what you can do is you progress through those stages. We could set up automated actions. So Bitrix, again, it can do a lot of the heavy lifting. Rather than all of those activities that your sales reps would usually do manually, like setting up calls, sending out emails, let Bitrix do that for you. So you can free up time so your sales reps can work on closing more opportunities. So for example, as soon as the lead comes into the system, we're sending out an email to them, thanking them for their inquiry. And when we move to the first call stage, we've got an activity that's going to be scheduled for the sales rep to call that lead. And it could be, as we kind of progress through that qualification process, you could send out some drip campaigns to try and nurture that lead through the sales process. So there's a huge number of automations that you could set up as you go through your qualification process. Okay, so that is a look at leads that we use to qualify our inquiries. And then once that lead has been qualified, we can then convert that lead into a deal. And a deal is segmented into a specific pipeline. So that could be based on the different products or services that you offer, or it could be based on maybe the geographical location that your business operates in. So you could submit here and say UK, USA, etc. So it's a way of segmenting your opportunity. into a specific pipeline. So let's go into deals. Okay, so inside our deals area, again, similar in structure to leads in the sense of you can create your own stages to progress the deal now through your sales opportunities. But what's really nice with our deals area is every pipeline is customizable here. So the USA deals, we can see the sales process for our deals. But then what we can do is if we go into the UK deals, the stages are completely different, and so are the automation rules. So it could be actually, if you want to use deal pipelines to manage maybe different types of services you offer, very likely if you are doing services, then you may have a different sales process for those services. So you could set up deal pipelines for each of those services through the system here. So that's a really useful way and a really valuable way to be able to be flexible in customizing your deal processes. And what's useful inside the Kanban view here of deals is as you progress the deal through those different stages, you can see the value changes. Okay, so as I progress the deal through our process here, we can see the updated forecast for that stage of the sales process. So this is really valuable for reporting purposes. Okay. And then if we click into the deal, we can see all of the information about the deal inside the system. And that layout, again, can be customized for each different pipeline. So it could be if we go into another pipeline, maybe in the UK pipeline, the layout can be completely different. Okay. Within the deal, we have products. So here we can add different products or services that we sell. So here we can add all of the different products for our deals. So I can select those products for our deal here, and that then updates and generates a value for the deal. And as we're progressing then through the stages, so we're at the sending quote stage. So what you can then also do inside Bitrix is you can generate documents. So whether that's a quote or then an invoice, you can generate that information directly through the Bitrix system. And you've got a document generator tool. So what you can do is you can map information from the CRM system to generate very personalized documents through the Bitrix24 system. So it's brought through that product information, and I can then send this out via an email directly to the customer, and we can then update the stage of the quotes to, let's say, waiting on client. So essentially all of that quoting is connected back to the deal through the system here. And then we can store all of the information. So I can click in quotes and I can see that quote that is connected to the deal. And all of this information is connected back to our contact and company. So inside the deal, you connect it with those entities inside the system. So if we go into our customer database, here, first of all, we have our contacts. So here we have a record of all of our contacts in the system. So I can click into a contact and I will see all of the history associated with this client. So I can see Sam Moon here is a contact, and I can see the organization, the London hotel that they are connected to. Now, what you can do is you can connect the contact to multiple companies inside the system as well. So you can have that multiple child and parent relationship. And then on the right-hand side, we can see all of the activity and history logs. So I can see some emails here. I can play calls back. I can click and call. I can play recorded call. So all of the history and communication log, it's all saved inside the contacts page here. And what I can do through here, if I want to schedule new activities, I could schedule those directly through the client's page and save those. So we have all of the activity log saved inside the system as well. And what's really nice through this UI, so you can see it's really clean and simple to view all of this history. I can then see all of the deals, quotes, and invoices that are connected with the client. So you have that very easy ability to click through the contact to the relevant areas of your opportunities that you're working on with the customer. And then let's go into the company database. So the key difference here, obviously within a company database, we've got all of our businesses that we are working with. And again, through any of these entities, you can drill down. So if you wanted to free text search or drill down based on different custom fields, I can drill down into any of this data. So if you've got hundreds of thousands of records, it's still very easy to drill down and search through all of that information inside the system. And then inside the company, the key difference here, again, you've got a very similar format and layout, but the key difference here is you can connect your multiple contacts. I can see Stephen Taylor's and Jane Green are contacts associated with this company. And then what I can do through here is I can click into the contact. So you can go from a high level to a very low level very quickly and seamlessly through our contact and company records. Okay, so that is a look at our company database. And we mentioned about a new feature here. So this is our smart process automation feature. So if we go into our smart process area, you can also search at the top here. Essentially, this feature here allows you to create brand new entities inside your CRM system. So if you really want to take the customization of your CRM to the next level, then using the smart process automation tool is the way to do that. So here we can see some of the entities that we have set up for our CRM system. So it could be, for example, you might want to manage an assessment, for example, or a survey for your clients. So inside here, for example, what we could do is we could set up an SPA for managing a survey. So for example, if we needed to get feedback from a customer, you could manage that maybe within deals, but what we can do with the SPA is we can set up our own bespoke stages for this record. And then we can create all of the different information and data points we want on the survey. So here we've got an interview form with some information that needs to be filled out. And all of this information we can then connect back to the client. So I can go into here and I can then actually see that as a brand new entity inside the client's area. So I can click on that needs assessment survey and I can see that survey connected back to the contact through the system. So the smart process automation tool, it allows you to create those brand new entities through your Bitrix24 CRM. And really, there's no limit to the types of entities you may want to create inside here. It may be, for example, an onboarding process for new businesses that you onboard into your CRM system. So there's a huge number of ways you could use this. We've set up smart process automations for actually managing your returns inside the system. Okay, so you may want this for managing a returns process. So if you have products that need to be returned to the organization, you can manage that whole returns process through Bitrix as well. Okay, so that is a look there at the different modules within the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so what we'll do now is let's just see if we have any other questions that have come through from LinkedIn or from our Zoom channel. So let's just take a look. So, okay, so yeah, question there. Is there a limit to the number of leads that can be imported into the system? So if you're importing leads, say via a CSV, for example, then again, you just need to check on the limits. So say, for example, the maximum number of leads that can be included in reporting or in searches on filters, it will depend on the cloud license that you have, for example. So for example, if you're on, let's say, standard cloud, for example, then the number of searchable leads is 200,000. Whereas if you're on a professional cloud or an enterprise cloud, there is no limit to the number of leads that can be searched through the Bitrix24 CRM. Okay, so let's now go into a case study. So let's actually progress a very brand new lead through the CRM system. So we've seen quite a few different ways that we can generate leads automatically inside the system. But again, it's still a very popular way to generate leads is by manually adding a lead into the system. So actually, we've seen quite a few ways we can automate the creation of leads. But actually, if you wanted to create a lead manually, then all we have to do is click on the create button here. And then we can fill in the information for our lead inside the system. Okay, so let's now add that lead into the system. So we can add the lead name and break that down into the different areas here. Okay, and you can decide actually what fields are mandatory. So actually within here, if you wanted to make something a mandatory field, you can put required at a certain stage and make that mandatory. So you can decide exactly what information is required. If you just want that basic information there, like so, we can then save that lead inside the system. Okay, so we can see that lead has now been saved, and now we can see the automations have started to work. So the power of automation rules has been worked on through the system. So if I just show you again where that came from, it's in the automation section here. So as soon as the lead is created, it's at this new lead stage, and we're using the power of automation to communicate with the lead through the system. So we're thanking them for their inquiry, letting them know we're working on that request. So it can save so much time. You don't need your sales reps to be manually doing these processes. The CRM can manage it for you. Okay, so let's now move to the first call stage. So we're going to call this lead, and let's call them through the system. Okay, so we've now called Sam, and let's make some notes about that call. Okay, so we can add those notes. So it's really important to make detailed notes when you're making that information saved inside the CRM system. So you may have colleagues who need to come into here and work on the lead with you. So it's really important to have all of that activity saved. And then let's complete that first call. We can progress through to our second call stage. We can add mandatory fields, so we may need to know some additional information about the lead before you can progress past a certain stage. So let's capture all of that information. And I'm going to have one final call. Okay, and now let's say this has been completed. Okay, so they have the budget. We've spoken to them a few times. We communicated through calls and emails, and we've saved all of that history inside the system. So let's now create our deal. Now, what we want to do here as well is we want to save this new client's record. So we've got this record now as a lead, but what we can do when we convert into a deal, we can also create the contact. And if the contact is associated with an organization, and you have that information, again, you could create a deal, a contact, and a company. All of that information is then synced together. But let's, for this example here, let's create a deal and a contact. And then I can save this into the relevant pipeline. So let's say, actually, we're going to move this into our USA pipeline. Okay, so let's now create that. Okay, so now that information has been saved, so it's brought through the client's details, and then we've got all of our custom fields that we need to fill in. So we've got all of this information here that we can now start to work on. So I'm going to add my estimated close date for this. We may have some legal documents that we need to input. So we've got all of this history inside the system. So let's go through, and I'll confirm what their requirements are. So they are looking for several hours of training on the Bitrix24 system. So let's just make some notes about this. Okay, so we're going to add that information. Now we want to add our products into the system. Okay, so again, you can add your different products and services into the system here. So we can add all of that information into our system. So we can select the training. And let's say there's going to be 4 hours of training. And 4 hours. Okay, so we've now added all of that information into our Bitrix24 CRM system. So we can capture all through our data points, essentially, the product information, the pricing, all of the history, it's all saved inside the deal here. So I can save that information. Okay, and let's just update this because we're in the USA. We're going to save that as a a dollar amount. Okay, so now we're going to go through to send out the quote. So we've already stored all that product information, so we can complete these tasks. So we've got the product saved. Now let's generate our quote. Okay, so we've got that quote inside the system. You could use automations if you wanted to generate this automatically, but I'm just going to show you through our document generator tool how you can do it manually, but this could be done automatically as well. So let's generate the quotes and let's send this. So it's brought through that product information, and let's now send this to the customer. So we can also set up templates here as well. So you could have this templated. So let's send that out through the system. And now let's say we're waiting on the client. Okay, and let's now approve that inside the system here. So that's now been approved. And then we can generate an invoice through the system. Okay, so we pull through the products, pull through all that product information, and then I can generate the invoice through here. So very similar to how we generate the quotes, we can then generate the invoice to send it to the customer so they can then purchase their products. And then once that's been paid, we're then going to update the invoice. Okay, and then we're going to move this to now completed. So you can progress the deal through those stages. And if we click into our contact record, we can now see all of that information. It's saved inside here, and I can click into the deal. I can see that completed deal record, and I can see the completed quotes and invoices. So all of that history is saved inside the system, and we can use the power of automations to essentially streamline a lot of these processes. You can generate the documents through here, automate communications to the client. You can send recurring notifications to try and re-engage with them to kind of build the urgency to make sure the client is driven through the sales process in a timely manner. So you can use the power of automations in Bitrix to save your sales reps a huge amount of time, and then they can work on closing more of their sales opportunities. Okay, so let's take a look at some of now the reporting tools within Bitrix24. And to mention here, reporting, that there's many areas within the Bitrix24 CRM for reporting. There isn't really just one area. And first, within deals, if we look in the Kanban view, as we mentioned, as you progress a deal through the different stages, you can then update that value there. So when we have information such as products connected to the deal, as you progress the deal through the stages, that will update the forecast there for that stage. So this actual high-level view is a really good view to be able to see the value of your pipelines through the system. You can also use the list view. So if you want to export data, you can customize this table of information. So you can set this up exactly how you want it to be constructed. And then you can turn on and turn off what data points you want to show here in this table of information. And then once it's set up exactly how you want it to be displayed, I can then export this data out into a CSV or Excel format. Okay, and then we also have the analytics module. So all of the data from the Bitrix24 CRM, it will feed that information into your analytics area. So here we can build essentially dashboard reports, pulling the information. So here I can see our sales reps, the number of leads they've worked on for this given time period. I can see how many converted into deals, what's the value of the won deals, what's the conversion rates, etc. You can set up sales targets for your reps so you can see how well they're tracking to targets. And you can also build out your own dashboard reports. So with Bitrix24 reporting, then you do need to use what the structure of those reports is. We also have an advanced reporting tool called Views, where we can feed the Bitrix data into the Views application so you can build advanced reports through multiple sources. Okay, so that is a look at some of the reporting channels available inside the system. And you also have the reports wizard tool here as well. So essentially, this is an area where you can design a report from scratch. So you can choose which area you want to report on, first of all. And then what you can do is you can build out your report. So you can give the report a title and a description, and then you can use essentially any data fields from the Bitrix CRM to build out your report. And you can also create filters. So you might want to filter based on a certain pipeline, for example. So you can drill down to the relevant data, and then you can decide how you want to share those reports. So you might want to share it with certain members of teams or departments, so you can control access rights on those reports. Okay, so that is a look at our reporting functionality. So we mentioned quite a lot today about cloud and self-hosted, and for example, SPAs, which is the ability to create brand new entities in the system. That's only available from the professional cloud and above. It's on all self-hosted editions, but essentially both include leads, deals, invoicing, and reporting. They both include custom record layouts, and from the standard cloud license and above, you can use the automation powers inside your stages on leads and deals. The key difference with the self-hosted, it's possible to essentially fully customize. So you could integrate actually Bitrix with other systems. So if you wanted to feed lead data into your CRM system, really you would need a self-hosted edition. Or if you wanted to create an advanced dashboard feeding information from the CRM, you want to use the source code to be able to do that, you would need a self-hosted edition. So it's possible to create advanced processes and modules with the self-hosted edition. Okay, so in summary, in today's next level CRM webinar, we've seen how we can use marketing features and the contact center channels to generate and drive leads into the Bitrix CRM system. We've then seen how we can really customize the CRM for leads, deals, and use SPAs to create bespoke entities inside the CRM. So hopefully you would agree that the CRM system, I mentioned at the start how it's voted within the top 10 globally, and how the UI is a very big factor for this. You can see how completely customizable the Bitrix CRM system can be for your sales team. You've seen how we can communicate on multiple channels, integrating email, telephony, adding all of your history on notes, and it gives you that 360-degree view of communication log with your customers. And then we're taking a look there at the forecasting and reporting tools. So essentially, the Bitrix CRM system is a completely comprehensive CRM that can be designed exactly how your sales team need to work. So if you're interested in implementing the Bitrix24 CRM, you can contact our team, sales@interface.com or sam@interface.com, and we'll be happy to set up a meeting with you to discuss your needs in more detail. Here are a selection of our up and coming webinars. So we are here every other Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can register interface.com/webinars, and please do go to our YouTube channel there. So youtube.com/interface. We have a huge amount of content that we provide every single week through our YouTube channel. So please do go there if you'd like some quick win videos and some more in-depth demonstrations of Bitrix24. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you found our next level CRM webinar useful, and I look forward to seeing you on our up and coming webinars as well in the future. Okay, thank you for your time today. Bye for now.